everybody, Lou Santiago here. This is another installment of Three Lefts Don't Make a Right. John is sitting over there in his place, hanging out, waiting for me to intro him. Started, I want to get you guys an update on what we got going on Garage Insider TV. We just dropped a video on doing pie cuts. So far, it's a hit. We've got one guy, of course, doesn't like it, but that's okay because you can't make everybody happy. So, it's just the way we roll. Other than that, we're moving forward. I talked to Justin Padfield, the owner of Scott's Hot Rods. He said he was going to have our rails for the Delray all bent up by the end of this week. So hopefully next week I can shoot across the mountain and pick them up, and we'll get back on the Delray. But next week I'm thinking about knocking out the transmission swap in the slow bourbon because it's getting time. Getting time to get that bad boy on the road so we can enjoy what's going on. So, John, what's going on with you, man?
Not a whole lot. Been working on the Barrett Jackson details. It was pretty cool, Craig, coming on last week.
Yeah, it was.
You're on, right? You're on?
Yeah, I'm on. Let's do this.
Okay. All right.
We're playing games.
I got everything lined up, just waiting for the okay. We're good. We'll do it.
That'll work.
So, did you see the email today about possibly us doing the podcast from there?
I was on the road, and I know when we talked, you mentioned it briefly. So I was just, I was going to either talk to you tonight about it or look at it. I was going to get it done after the show, quite honestly.
Hopefully that happens. And, we're there live at the event in Scottsdale, talking the talk, walking around, checking out the cars, doing our thing. You know what I mean? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be real.
And that's an honor if if everything happens. There's a COVID issue they're talking about, where, who, mask, the whole thing. So we'll see if we can make it work.
So I don't know where it came from, but I got a mask. And if I have to wear a mask, I got the mask.
You got a good one?
I got a good one. I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, I just, as a matter of fact, I'm going to send it to Lee. I'm going to send it. Screw it. I'll just put it up. I'll just do the camera and stick it up there.
Hold it up.
I'll just hold it up. It's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. I'm telling you.
Let me see. That is you. That is definitely you.
I'll wear my SpongeBob shirt with my SpongeBob socks and my SpongeBob mask. I'll be ready to take on Barrett Jackson with a vengeance.
There you go. There you go. I'll be hiding in the corner. I'll be over there somewhere. You have to come look for me.
It's okay. It'll be groundbreaking at Barrett Jackson.
Yeah. Right.
So you got anything else good going on?
Not a whole lot. Happy that Wayne Carini's here.
Wayne's gonna be hanging out. I mean, I think it's because he feels bad for me, because every time he sees me, it's just a train wreck waiting to happen. Just haven't figured out where it's going to hit where it's going to hit yet. So,
yeah. No, but it's cool. It's cool. Next week we got Shorty from Iron Resurrection, so that's another good show.
That'll be another good show. And then we have Aaron Hagar.
Yeah, that'll be a real good one.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday is my birthday, so we're gonna have to have a cake or something.
Oh man, you're getting old.
I am getting old.
I gotta write that down.
What?
I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
There you go. John's birthday. Old.
Go Shorty. It's your birthday.
I got it written in stone now. Old.
Yeah.
So here's where we're at. I'm going to do a commercial. And then when we come back from the commercial, I'm going to intro Wayne. So you guys sit tight, get your beverage, and let's get ready to rock this out. Lee, take us through a commercial.
Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils-infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.
Love it. Let freedom clean. All right, everybody, in a moment you've been waiting for. Oh, wait, before I intro Wayne, I got to tell you guys, make sure you click and subscribe to Garage Insider TV, because, you know, that's how we're going to try and keep Three Lefts Don't Make a Right on YouTube. And for you people who don't know, I am on YouTube now, just so you know. Garage Insider TV and Three Lefts Don't Make a Right. But if you go to the Garage Insider TV page, you get both. It's two for the price of one. All right, so everybody, hope you guys are ready for this, but we've got Wayne Carini. Where is Wayne?
You know, that sounded like a soap commercial to me. Two bars instead of one. Come on. That's just typical Lou. If I ever saw it. John, I got to tell you, I met Lou at SEMA about 9 years ago. And so Lou invites me to lunch. And the intro to meeting Lou was just unbelievable. But he says, let's go to lunch. So we go down into the cafeteria at SEMA, and we're standing in line, and I get in the salad line. Of course, Lou gets in the burger line. And so I get a table, and he comes over and he says, got room for my friends. So there's like 6 guys with him. You know, so we make room and everybody sits down and they're talking. They get up and leave. I said, Jesus, that was great. How long have you known those guys? He says, I just met them in the lunch line. Just like they've been friends for 100 years. I thought
I'll do anything. We'll do anything for a free burger. That was just for a free burger. They were buying them lunch.
Unbelievable. And then, of course, every year I see him at SEMA, he embarrasses me. You know, he sees me from a distance and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Wayne Carini. Oh my God, you know, and he's got the audience applauding. They don't know who Wayne Carini is actually, but they're applauding because Lou's so excited. So I love Lou to death. I do anything for you, buddy. I love you.
I run a 3-ring circus. What can I say? You know what I mean?
You're the best. You know, I love you to death.
It's hard to get mad at Lou. Everybody loves Lou. It's
not
everybody loves Raymond. Everybody loves Lou.
Trust me, they get mad at me.
He's a one of a kind. That's for sure.
That security guy at SEMA in 18, Chip was signing, right? So I go tootling in there, you know, just walk by him. He's like, hey, where are you going? So I'm going to see Chip. And he just looks at me kind of baffled. And he goes, you can't see him. I said, why? I know him. and he goes, where's your badge? I said, in my pocket where it belongs. And I was really baffled. He goes, you have to put it on. I said, I don't have to do anything but see Chip. And I went over there and sat down next to Chip. So the guy comes over and Chip's like, he's okay. He's okay.
Right.
SEMA's the best because Lou can be at his best there. I mean, at some of the parties at night, oh my gosh, we had so much fun. It's always a blast. You know, always a blast at SEMA.
Hopefully they have it this year. Last year they ditched it. Hopefully,
you know, I think it's going to happen this year, but it might be you know, a little cut back from the years before. So, you know, I don't think that we might see a lot of people traveling from around the world yet. So, SEMA will happen. I know that, but it depends on the size.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get really crazy deep into the Wayne Carini world,
not that we haven't already.
Building Ford engines at 8 years old.
Yeah.
I need to know, are you still wearing your helmet in the basement in the morning?
No, I'm going for therapy now.
You're gonna have to explain that because I know what you're talking about. Everybody else is going, what the hell just happened? You went from Model A to helmets. Wayne.
With a Hans device on besides.
You're gonna have to explain. And Bonneville.
So we're talking about going to Bonneville. So I own a Bonneville car, the Tony Thacker, Jimmy Shine car. And I've always wanted to go to Bonneville, so I bought this car at Bear Jackson a few years ago, and it's a really great 32 Roadster. It's been over 200 miles an hour many times, and I felt that I had to be prepared. I have claustrophobia, so because of that, I decided to become prepared and put my helmet on in the morning when I'm doing emails. So I go down to my gym in the morning, I put my helmet on, and I do emails after going on the treadmill. And one morning, my wife came down at like 6 o'clock in the morning to do laundry in the basement, and she looked over and she saw the helmet on my head, and then she shook her head. She went upstairs, and so I had to go up, later on and explain myself what I was doing. She goes, "What the F was that you had this helmet on your head?" And I said, "Well, I'm preparing to go to Bonneville, and I want to do 200 miles an hour." And she says, "What do you get for that? You get money, trophy, whatever it is?" I go, "No, you get a hat." And she says, "A hat? Stay home. I'll buy you a hat." Of course, you got to earn the hat. So this is like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I've been pushed by a friend of mine, Rob Gibby, and Rob has put something together where Bill Warner, the founder of the Amelia Island Concours, and I are going to go to Bonneville this year. I'm going to a hypnotist, and I'm going to try to break the fear of this claustrophobia, and I'm going to try to go, but Bill will go, and I'll be the owner of the car at the least. So it's something very exciting in my life. I just can't wait to do this. So we have a 32 Ford Roadster with a blown 302 Chevy. It makes 1,200 horsepower.
Wow.
And it makes such a noise that you can't understand. I mean, you have to have earplugs in just to start it. It's unbelievable. Such a cool car.
It's awesome.
But that's gone 200 miles in the past, 200 miles an hour in the past?
It's gone 236 in the past. Yeah, cool. Jimmy Shine and Tony Thacker. And then it was built by another gentleman. But those are the two guys. They used to drive it from L.A. Out at I can't remember the name of the shop, but they drove it across the desert, went to Bonneville, and then drove it back after going 200 miles an hour.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew they ran it at Bonneville, but I didn't know that they drove it to Bonneville.
They drove it across, yeah. And since that, it's gone through a couple of different hands. Steve Van Locken was the guy that sold it at Barrett Jackson. I bought it. So that's a really cool story. So Steve tried to sell it to me before Barrett Jackson, and I said, nah, I can borrow a car from somebody. I don't need to own one. And then I went to Barrett Jackson. It was going across the block. I was standing on the stage to see how much it was going for, and it was going for such a cheap price that I raised my hand. The next thing you know, I owned it. And Steve is on the stage crying, "Oh, I finally got, I sold the car. I hope it goes to a good person." I said, "I bought it." Now he's picking me up. He's squeezing me. He's picking me up and down, bouncing me on the stage. He can't believe that I just bought the car. So he's actually preparing the car for us this year, and we're going to Bonneville. Yeah, I can't wait.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna try and go. I got to try and go. I've always wanted to go there. I need to go.
It's a bucket list thing. Got to go.
It is.
For real.
I'll bring one. I'll probably bring the slow bourbon out, and I'll just sleep in the slow bourbon. I don't care.
It's okay.
It doesn't
Whatever
matter.
you want to do. You sleep in our car. It's a little tight.
I don't care. I lived in my 64 Impala for a year, so I can do it.
So what's that car you and your son used to drive across the country, go to Seaman? What was that?
That's my wife's Honda Toyota Scion XB.
Scion, that's what it was. The Scion.
We drove the XB 4 times. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know this, John? That Luke is not a favor of flying.
I know.
He doesn't like flying. So
it's not that I don't like it. I get blood clots when I fly.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'm back on blood thinners because I had 4 clots in my right lung.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So get the lowest car to the ground you can have and drive.
That's why I lower everything. It's not
there.
Just
You go.
A technique thing. It's a health thing.
Yeah.
Come on, Wayne. Come on. I know the drill.
Oh God.
So Wayne, I mean, let's before we get too far into it, right? I know on the notes that it says here that you built in 2nd grade a Model A engine. What's the deal with that? Is that true? Is that fact or fiction? Can you
It's,
remember back that far?
It was third grade, but
third grade. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go from there. Yeah. So everybody had something they did during the summer. You know, a show and tell. What you do this summer? And so I got up in front of the class. I said, "Well, I built a Model A Ford engine." And Mr. Barnes, and I remember Mr. Barnes, redheaded guy, and he said, "You did not." I said, "Okay, yes, I did." And so I had my dad come in and explain what we did. And he said, "I would love for you to show that to the class." So we brought a Model A Ford engine in. It was on a stand. And I disassembled the engine myself and I reassembled it. So I didn't rebuild it. I just disassembled it and reassembled it. And then we started it.
That's
and
awesome.
Mr. Barnes' eyes about poked out of his head that what I had just done actually worked. And
That's pretty cool.
it was an interesting thing. It really meant nothing to me because it was like, you know, old hand. But to see Mr. Barnes, because the rest of the kids, you know, they were like blowing bubbles and, you know, throwing shit at each other and stuff like that. I mean, Mr. Barnes's eyes, though, poking out of his head, that was the best
see it
reaction.
actually work. Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, that's crazy. I was still picking my nose at 9 and 10 years
Well,
old.
I mean, but it worked for my dad, you know, and my dad taught me that over the summer. That was the project. We always had projects together. So that was the summer project.
That's cool. That's very cool. That's very cool. And now your dad had a resto shop. Isn't that a restoration and collision shop? That's how you got into it, right?
Yeah, my dad, so he went in the service, got out of the service, and then he went to work at a gas station and started fixing cars and painting cars and ended up starting a restoration shop and restoring Model A Fords. And he went to a car show in 1951, the year I was born, and they wouldn't let him in with a Model A Ford because they said it was just some old car.
Really?
He was totally pissed off. So he decided to make a car club they couldn't come to. So it was classic cars and brass cars and that stuff. And so he created what's known today as the Model A Restorers Club of America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was his club back in 1951. He started that with a friend of his. And now there's thousands of people all over the world that are members of that club.
Dude, that is so cool.
Yeah. He was into it. He was Mr. Model A Ford, and then he restored Duesenbergs and Packards, all sorts of classic cars and exotic cars, you know, Grifos. And so I was brought up in that atmosphere. And then my cousin built hot rods and a lean-to in the barn next to my father's barn, which was the cow barn on the family farm. And then Candy Pool Sports Car Shop was about a mile away. So I had a interest in every type of a car: hot rods, classic cars, sports cars, and that's what brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, but something made you go to the exotic cars that you deal with mostly.
Well, I mean, so when I was probably about 12 or 13, Luigi Canetti Motors was in Greenwich, Connecticut, and they were the Ferrari importer for the United States. And my dad fixed a car for somebody that we picked it up there. And so about once a month, he would drive me down there and we'd look in the windows on Sundays so we could see the exotic cars. And I think that's what really clicked it for me. And then I restored a 275 4Cam for a client. And I took it to a national show and I took second to a guy, Francois Sicard. And Francois had a 500 Superfast Ferrari. And after he won Best in Show over my car, he came over to me. He says, "You know, you do beautiful paint work and beautiful body work, but you know nothing about hose clamps." And so he opened the hood of my car and he said, "This hose clamp's wrong. This hose clamp's wrong." And all these little detail things. He says, "From now on, I do hose clamps and you do body work, and we win every time." And we collaborated for about, I don't know, 18 years, 20 years. and we took our cars all over the country and won every time. So I really have to honor Francois for teaching me so much.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool story. What about your first ride in a Ferrari when you were a young kid? I heard a story.
So I was 10 years old, and our family used to go into Adirondacks up in the Catskills and go on family vacations. And so we had a little cabin, and the cabin next to us, there was a doctor from New York, and he had a 250 short wheelbase Ferrari, and it was a brand new car. And so here I am, 10, and he opened the hood and he showed my father and I the engine, and the engine had 6 carbs on it. It had dual distributors, dual oil filters, and I thought this had to be the fastest car in the world. And then he took me for a ride, and he proved it was probably one of the fastest cars I've ever driven. And to this day, that's my favorite car in the world, and for good reason. Not just because of the drive, because it's probably one of the most fabulous cars in the world. A 1960 Ferrari. So I've had the good fortune to restore 7 of them over the years, and I wish I could own one today, but I always remember those restorations.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Lee, did we lose Luke? Did he drop out?
Yeah.
He says that his computer just cut off, and he's working that out right now to rejoin the show. So
Probably got to reboot it.
Yes.
Wayne, I read when we were prepping for the talk today that you went to school to actually be a teacher.
Actually, I started school to become an architect. I went to Pratt Institute of Technology down in New York, right, and I dropped out of there after about 3 months. I figured out it wasn't the place for me to be, and I graduated art education finally, and I couldn't find the perfect job. I wanted to be a college art teacher right out of college, and that wasn't going to be. So I went back to work for my dad, and next thing you know, Ferraris are coming into the shop, and we're starting to fix Ferraris, and it caught my interest, and here we are. I mean, that was at age 26 or 7. I was into cars, then I got into motorcycles, then I get into dating. And I forgot about everything else in the world, and I got married to a fantastic woman who's still my wife at 36 years later, and we have great children, great grandchildren, and life is really good.
Right. Yeah. I also heard you do work for autism and getting the word out about autism. Can you tell us what that means to you?
Yeah, we have. My wife and I have a daughter, and I can't say that we have her. I mean, she's part of our family. So Kimberly is 32 years old as of last weekend. She was diagnosed with autism at 18 months old, and so we've fought for everything in her education and her life, and now we want to start giving back. We have been giving back. So we do a lot of charitable work for autism, as well as for a lot of other charities. But autism is the one thing that we looked into so much to help Kimberly over the years. She's doing great. She's nonverbal, but yet she's such an important part of our life. She lives with us, and she'll be part of our family directly. She'll never move away from us as long as we're alive, and we've set up a great fund for her, so she'll be able to live well taken care of for the rest of her life too. So we go around the country. One of the greatest things that happened to us, though, with Kimberly was a car came in the driveway one day on a flatbed, and it's a Buick, and it got offloaded off the truck, and the guy, I said, "What's this about?" He says, "Well, I was told to bring the car here, and the owner will call you." So I got a call from this lady in California, and she said, "We'd like to have an estimate on the car for restoration." So I called her with the estimate, and I said, I really got to tell you something. This car reminds me of the Rain Man car. She goes, "Well, that's because it is."
Wow.
It is the car that was in the movie Rain Man.
Is that
Barry
53
Levinson owns the car, and and Barry would like you to restore it. So long story short, we restore the car. I deliver it to Barry. He asked me to put it in the garage with the dirt floor, and I couldn't do that. So I brought it back home. I called him. I said, Barry, I can't see that car living in a garage with the dirt floor. They lived out in the country. Not that he couldn't afford a better garage for it, but anyways, I made a proposition to him that if I stored the car for no charge, he would allow me to use it for autism awareness around the country. And so Barry has not seen the car in 9 years. He's never seen the car fully restored, but yet I've taken around the country and to really advocate for autism. So it's a great thing that he allowed me to do, and we use it for such great things. We're about to do a golf tournament here in Connecticut in June with it, so it's a wonderful thing.
What kind of shape was that car in when you got it? What did it look like? I guess nobody touched it since the movie, right?
Well, so it was painted. It was a quick paint job for the movie. But then somebody had taken it apart, and it had been actually at 2 different shops before it came to us because nobody was really paying attention to the car, and he got frustrated. So he actually brought it to the right guy, and we treated it as gold. I mean, that car is so important in my life. You know, before that movie came out, autism wasn't really understood. And to be finally to have a movie that told the story a little bit about autism so people would understand what it was all about meant so much to us. And the car still means so much to us today.
Wow, that's a cool story. Really is.
Where's Lou? Lou, where are you?
He should jump on his cell phone if he can't get back on the computer. Is he there?
Wait a minute.
There he is.
There
what
he
happened?
is.
What happened?
I fired up I ran upstairs and got the I don't know what happened, guys. It was Wayne was talking, all of a sudden I got a blue screen and the computer shut off.
Would you get bored?
Yeah. It was I never had that happen before. That was weird. But my computer is old.
You know, right before this, Luke called me because he thought that I blew him off.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't call him right away. So I think that Lou was trying to blow me off tonight.
I think what it is that, you know, I just Wayne's old and I wanted to make sure that he remembered.
John's going to be old tomorrow.
Oh.
Yes,
John,
he
right?
is.
Next Wednesday, the 10th. The 10th, I'll be 55.
Okay.
I feel like 105.
You're a puppy dog.
I wish.
In
Wayne,
dog years, isn't that like 3,000?
Yeah, it's over. Way over the hill. Wayne, tell us about the work you did for Letterman. Is he nearby? He's in Connecticut, is he not? Or used
Yeah,
to?
Dave's nearby. So with my friend Francois Sicard, we've restored several cars for Dave. He's a really cool guy. Loves using his cars, but you know, things change in people's lives. So Dave had a garage down by the Danbury, Connecticut airport, and he'd take out his cars every weekend and drive them around. But you know, things change. He got married. He had a son, and so I sort of lost touch with Dave. But it was fun restoring cars for him, and he sent me a late night jacket once. Of course, it should have fit Lou and not me. You know, the sleeves are down over my fingertips, but you know, one of those blue jackets, you know, leather jacket.
Yeah.
So
He was known for that.
It was cool. Well, I always remember I was showing one of his cars at the Louis Vuitton show in New York City, down at Rockefeller Center, and I was standing next to the car talking to people, and all of a sudden this guy shows up and he's got this trench coat on and a hat pulled down over his eyes, and he goes, "Hey Wayne, that's really looking good." And I go, "Okay, thank you, sir." He says, "No, Wayne, it's me, it's Dave." And look at him. For Christ's sake, it's Dave. Dave, how you doing? He says, No, don't say my name. Don't say my name. So Dave was always afraid of the public, you know, and that's okay. I mean, you know, Lou understands that because he gets swarmed every time he goes anywhere. I mean, when people know that Lou Santiago's in the audience, he gets swarmed so he can't move. So I understand what Dave's going through.
What was in Letterman's collection? What's he having? Still having that? What was he working on? What's he into?
So he's into everything. Of course, he was a part of the Indianapolis team, Newman, Haas, and Letterman team. So he's got a couple Indy cars. He's got quite a few Ferraris. He's got English cars. He's got a Sunbeam Alpine. Just a little bit of everything. The one car though that he had that intrigued me over the years was he brought his Volvo 740 station wagon to me because it had a dent in a fender. So I fixed it, and I opened the hood one day and I looked in and it had a 302 Ford with a Kenny Bell supercharger.
Yeah.
And he went on to tell me that he had 3 of these made, and one for himself, one for Paul Newman, and one for his accountant.
No way.
Yeah, smoked the real tires. I mean, a 5-speed transmission, the whole thing. And he owned a Volvo dealership in Connecticut, so that's the reason he picked a Volvo wagon. It was the ultimate soccer mom car, he said.
No kidding.
And when he used to drive around, he didn't want people to recognize him. So same thing with Paul Newman. So ended up that I chased Paul Newman's car down and I bought it. So I have Paul Newman's 740 302 Kenny Bell supercharger 5-speed Volvo wagon.
That's awesome.
And the day he sold it to the guy I bought it from, he was playing tennis, and his tennis clothes are still in the back of the car, still folded up in the back of the car. His shorts, his sweatshirt, his tennis racket, everything is in the back of the car.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
That's
one
really
of these
cool.
days I'm going to auction that off and give all the money to the one of the Paul Newman charities. So
Wayne, can we drive it to SEMA?
yeah, let's go.
We'll bring a camera and we'll drive the Volvo to SEMA.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
That'd be a cool trip, man. We just
could
shoot
take an
video
Uber.
along the way.
We could take an Uber to SEMA.
Yeah, right.
Why
Chip
would you
in.
want to do that? We don't get to drive. It's no fun.
we could get the Uber driver to sit in the back seat. We'll drive.
We can get John to drive and we'll sit in the back seat and bark orders at him.
Take the
We'll call him Manford. Manford, you're going too slow. Manford.
Wayne, I'm outside of Philadelphia. I'm probably about 3 hours or so, somewhere abouts from you.
Yeah, about 3.5 hours, sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Simeone Museum, John?
No, I have not.
Oh, you have to go. Oh my
Really?
gosh.
What
You'll
museum
go
is that?
nuts. Simeone. It's Dr. Frederick Simeone, and Dr. Simeone was, before his retirement, was probably the top neurosurgeon in the country, and he collected some of the most wildest cars. So if a car was at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Mille Mille, any of the major automobile races in the world, he had to collect it. And he has the wildest collection in the world, and he loves sharing it with people. So he's a great friend. And John, if you want to go, I'll give Fred a call for you. It's wonderful. You go nuts.
Yeah, my doctor
Yeah,
actually told me to go check that out. He recommended I check it out.
What a place.
Yeah.
What a place.
Yeah.
Fred's
Wait,
the
what,
greatest guy in the world.
Is it open to the public or
Yes,
is
sir.
it? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
yeah.
That's worth the trip.
Absolutely.
You
It's
come
right on
through.
the edge of the of Philly airport.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about a half hour from me.
Okay, cool. Got to go.
Yeah. It's not far at all. I'm right off of 95. So Lou,
Yeah.
come pick me
That's
up.
an easy run. That's an easy run. So
Yeah.
I just want you guys to know that when I was stationed in Newfoundland, I actually lived for a week in the Philly airport.
Get out.
True story. True story. Happened to me twice.
What
For a
year
week.
was that?
It was in 95. No, 93. I'm sorry, 93. What
So I gotta
happened
tell
was,
you, I
Go ahead.
lived in the Salt Lake City airport for 3 days once when I was on standby trying to get
Yeah.
home for Christmas. 3
Yeah.
days in the airport. I
Yeah.
couldn't get out. It was
Yeah.
nasty.
what happened with me was I blew my knee out, so they sent me from Newfoundland to the Philly Naval Hospital because that's where we had to go. So they scoped my knee, and there was only a flight to Newfoundland once a week. So nobody knew that they all thought that I would be there with no problem, have a place to go. As soon as they scoped my knee, I did a local, so I was awake for the whole thing. They're like, okay, you can go back to your command. I'm like, my command, I can't go back for a week. They're like, not our problem. So I had to stay in the Philly airport for a week. It happened to me twice.
Wow. That's pretty
Yeah, I literally lived in the airport.
I wish we would have known you then. We would have come and picked you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, right? But it's the military. That's the way they roll. You got to be flexible.
Yes.
You got to be flexible. It's not a big deal.
Us are sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The second time I was on 95 hitchhiking with crutches and everything, and I made it back to my dad's house in Long Island.
Sounds like you.
Wayne, what else is in your collection? What do you have? What do you like?
I like everything. My favorite car is the next car.
Yeah.
So,
you got any Fat Fender 50s cars in your group? Other than the Buick,
I have a couple of pickup trucks. So I have a 51 Ford, and I have a 49 Chevy 5-window that was the Good Guys Truck of the Year in 2007. That's a cool truck.
Yeah.
But I've got a little bit of everything. I got a Hudson Italia, which they made 25 of. I like unusual and rare cars, and everything in between. We start off with a 1900 Locomobile, then we go to a 1909 Baker Electric, and just keep going up from there. A 1912 Chase truck, which is an air-cooled 3-cylinder truck, twin chain drive. And we go right up to a 2020 Corvette. And now a 2021 Corvette. It was built last week for me. So that's a cool car.
What do you think of that?
I love it. I love it.
It looks pretty badass.
It is. It's so comfortable to drive, and the placement of the gauges and everything. It's a wonderful car. I just sold my Demon though, and I regret that a little bit. But that was a fun car.
Why would you sell the Demon?
I don't know. Somebody offered me some money, and I just said yes. Yeah. I'm looking for another one right now. I mean, the car only had 100 miles on it, so I wanted to drive it, but it was great to drive it. The one car I like, though, that I've been back and forth about selling is my 2014 Cadillac CTS-V station wagon. 6.
Oh, those are badass.
I could use that for parts.
I'd rock that thing, man.
That's got an LSA in it.
I would lower that thing. And is it a stick or is it an automatic?
Stick.
Oh yeah, see that's me. That's me. I would rock that thing.
It's got 9,700 miles. Black interior. And Ken Lingenfelder, my buddy Ken, just send it to me. We'll make it 800 horsepower. He said 560 is enough. It's okay.
Yeah, that thing's a rocket.
It is. It's a great car.
Man, yeah. I've always liked them since they came out. I'm trying to restart my computer while we're talking. I've always liked those things. They're awesome. Yeah. That's like the ultimate wagon for me, quite honestly. And it's got to be a stick, or else it's just no fun.
I love it. I love that car.
Wayne, when we talked a little bit earlier about before the show about the CUDA that you had at Connecticut, Mohican Sun, Barrett Jackson. What was the story behind that? Because I didn't get a chance to talk to you when you were there.
So that was a Hemi CUDA that was built by Chip Foose. Had Chip's colored green on it. I had it for a client, and he went from muscle cars to Ferraris. We helped him with that collection. But we decided to sell it. I think it went pretty cheap, unfortunately. But he said, "Sell it. That's it. We're out of here. We're going to develop a Ferrari collection," which we did. But wonderful car, fantastic car.
What do you think?
There was an orange Camaro at the same time from the same collection.
I didn't see the Camaro. I remember The CUDA. What do you think's
CUDA
going to
was-
happen with the resto mod world? I mean, years ago, if you pulled out the motor and put something else in it, you killed the value of the car. Now it seems like they're bumping up.
They're certainly going up in value. I mean, people want cars that you can use.
Yeah.
So, original Hemi CUDA, everyone's afraid to drive it, but Restomod, you can drive across the country. It's got the brakes, transmission, better, engines in the car. It's newer Hemis going in. So they're really fantastic cars.
Yeah, but do you think the originals at one point, because there's going to be less of them if everybody continues to do that, the originals are going to skyrocket at that point, don't you think?
But most of your Restomods are 318 CUDAs.
Yeah,
so they've been
too.
transformed. So, the originals, I don't think any originals have been chopped up too much. So
that's because I haven't gotten a hold of it yet.
Yeah, right. You're the chop up king. Every time I talk to him, he says, "Yeah, do you know what I'm doing to this? I'm cutting the frame. I'm taking 8 inches off of this. I'm lowering the suspension. I'm putting in this." What? You're the guy, man. Of course, I got to tell you, Lou, the TV series was fantastic. What you guys did on there was so entertaining, and taught us so much about cars. So, you guys, fantastic show.
Well, we've it's kind of weird because when we started out at RTM, what happened was we get in there. Jared came in the week after I did, so we had already started shooting the first show. So Jared shows up, and we're asking the powers that be, what do you want us to do? How do you want to do this? And nobody had an answer for us. So we just decided to start teaching. That's literally how we did it. We just made a conscious decision. We weren't going to do all the fighting and arguing and all the BS that comes along with that. We weren't going to do it. So we just started teaching, and it worked. And it still works, quite honestly, because that's what I'm doing on Garage Insider TV. I'm teaching.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that you always wanted to do, wanted to teach people, and it works. I mean, it's interesting. The other stuff sort of gets old, but if you're learning something, you want to learn, you're interested every time. So I know Jared was so excited about the Ferrari thing.
Yeah.
When you guys did taking the engine out, doing the service on the Ferrari, that was really cool. But
we got lots of hate mail for that. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But you did so many good cars and Chevy stuff and whatever it may be, and we learned so much. It was great.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, man.
I'm trying to get it going where I can bring Jared back in. I'd like to have him come up and do stuff with me on YouTube. I think it would be really beneficial to everybody, because there's a lot of stuff that he does that I don't do, and it works.
Well,
we get along. I mean, we're friends.
He's really techy, and you're just like, get it done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't need to know how to do it, but I'm going to cut it up.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out later.
Take the torch and let's make it work.
Exactly.
John, you should see us at the SEMA show. Velocity used to hold these parties up on the top floor of this hotel where it was the Elvis suite.
I was there.
We laughed, and you were there too, John. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was there. It was so crowded. It was probably 5 years ago. They told me it was Liberace's suite, so I guess it depends on who
it was. Liberace and Elvis, yeah.
With the pool in the center.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Either it was probably both. Whoever toured through probably got that suite.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Great stuff, though. Great stuff.
Those parties were pretty awesome. I was fortunate enough to get in one time with a pass, the VIP pass, which was pretty cool. Everybody was there. I may have run into you, Wayne. I can't remember. I got pictures.
I'm sure we did. There were so many people there.
I would just bring people up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It was stand at the elevator door and just wave us in. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the same like when we had lunch that time. I'm walking and I'm talking to these guys, and I go to get in the line to go upstairs. And there's some lady from the network there. She's like, "You can't be in this line." And some guy comes over. He's like, "Oh no, he's he hosts Car Fix. He's good." He's like, "How many you got, Lou?" I turn around. There's like 8 guys. I'm like, them, and he gave everybody bands
from the cafeteria. It was the guys from the cafeteria.
I know
man.
who they were.
They bought him a cheeseburger. He got him in.
I had no idea. They're with me. It's okay. Come on.
I'll never forget that though.
And they're looking at me kind of weird, like, just don't say a word. Let's go. Get in the elevator. And we all packed in the elevator because I didn't want I told them, I said, everyone get in, because if you don't get in, you may not get upstairs. Just get in. So they're like, no, there's I'm like, no, there's plenty of room. Pack in. I'm pushing everybody in.
Honest to God, John, I was sitting at the table and he was talking to these guys. I really thought he knew them forever.
He was like that at SEMA, not this past year, of course, but
Just
the year before.
Really? You just met him in the lunch line?
He's a regular guy. He's just a regular dude that people feel they could walk up to and tell them about their 69 Chevelle and go, come this way. I want to show you the car. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool.
Lots of fun.
Is there any deals or cars that you stepped over, wish you would have bought?
Well, I mean, there's always things that you wish you would have bought, but sometimes you're reluctant to buy them, and then all of a sudden somebody else buys it, and you go, "Oh my God, I missed that one."
Yeah.
But you know what? My theory is there's another one around the corner, so never regret it. You know, sometimes you pause and you go, "I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if it's at the right price." But when things are right and it clicks right, it's really a great feeling buying a great car. And then the biggest problem is that, do you sell it? Do you keep it? What do you do with it? And unfortunately for me, I keep most of them, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, right.
A big problem.
You ever on the other side? You ever buy something you wish you didn't? I saw you bought that bus at auction. It was out.
So John,
you still have it?
to bring the bus up. You would have to bring that up.
Wait a minute. Wait, whoa. What bus is this?
He's got a pool and a pond. The pond be good for you, Lou.
Yeah. So I own a BMC bus, and it was on the show. So we went to the auction. It was an RM auction out in Scottsdale. I saw this BMC bus, which was a technical support vehicle for BMC back in the 60s. So it went to all the racetracks, and they used it for support for the races. They had tires and engines in it and all sorts of stuff. And it was a cool bus. So I went there, I looked at the bus, and I talked to the guy that owned it. And I said, so it's really cool. Man, I'd really like to own this. How much are you looking for? He says, oh, I think the reserve's $150,000. And I said, okay. So the auction comes up. I'm all excited about it. I raised my hand at $5,000. Guy goes 10,000. I go, screw it, $15,000. What the hell? His reserve's got to be 150,000, 25,000, 30,000. We're going back and forth, and I get to 50,000. I raise my hand, and I go, oh shit, I think I'm done. And all of a sudden they go, we're selling the bus.
Sold.
And I go, I'm looking at the guy I'm bidding against. I go, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Oh,
he says, going once, twice, 3 times, sold $50,000. And
what?
And the look on my face was just like, really?
Yeah.
I just bought that bus.
Yeah.
And I went, it was sort of a joke. We went to dinner afterwards. I hadn't been drinking, nothing. It was just like, okay, I went to dinner afterwards. I was in the hotel room, and I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning in a cold sweat, and I go, did I really just buy that bus?
Yeah. It's got to be a nice bus, though, is it not?
No, it actually, I think I can see it from here. It's just around the corner. It's in my yard.
Oh my God.
So I went to go find a picture. I don't know if this is what it is. But let us know. Is this what it looks like?
Yes, but mine's all painted differently. But that's basically what I bought. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What year is that? 65? How old is that?
63, I think it is.
Yeah.
And but I got to tell you, we've had so much fun with that bus. I've driven up and down the West Coast. I've taken it to Jay Leno's garage. We did a big segment on my show about that. Peter Egan, who's one of the best writers at Road and Track back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, Peter and I took a tour in that bus together. We just laughed the whole way. Sort of like that.
Awesome.
It's sort of like being with Lou Santiago in something where you drive it and you just laugh the whole way that you're crying and you're having the best time. Doesn't matter what you're in. So.
See, I can get a short bus. I mean, I know this.
No. So we were actually going to take this bus and we put a one of those lights they have in a go-go clubs,
Yes.
those,
Now you're talking.
and then we were going to put a stripper pole in the middle. We were going to go down
like I do.
We were going to go down the highway in California, and we have a dancer on a pole and with the thing going, but the film crew thought that wasn't a good idea. So
yeah,
Wayne, we may need to borrow the bus because Lou
Yeah,
and I are talking about doing a hot rod power tour, and we don't
there
know
you
what
go.
we don't know what to pile in and do or what.
There's not much power. It's a Perkins diesel, but
That's
doesn't
fine.
matter. You'll
So,
get there.
fine.
It's a lot of fun, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
That's a cool story.
George wants to thank you for your stuff that you've done with autism.
Thank
He
you,
has a
George.
grandson with autism.
Thank you, George. Appreciate the recognition. We do whatever we can for autism. We have a charity here in Connecticut, Autism Families Connecticut. They do so many things. There's a program named after my daughter for young adults with autism. So, yeah, it's great. Just there's so many different. Every autistic person in the world is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you can't just say this is the box they fit in. Everyone's a little different, but they need our support and our help, and we help them as much as possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, and just so you know, because speaking of, before my computer kicked me off, my son is now a dad.
Is that right? Congratulations! Oh my God, he was there he was there the year after the lunch line deal.
Yeah.
But he was there to see you in action. He was there to see you in action.
Yeah. The insanity that I bring to the table.
Remember when Chip was painting that Dodge? They were doing whatever it was, the paint job and the rebuild of the Dodge.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You and I were heckling him from behind the wall.
See, I'm a bad influence on Wayne, John, because I'll start in and then he can't resist it. He can't resist it. Everybody thinks
you both go to jail
till he gets around me. I'm just a bad influence.
Yeah. You're a good influence. A lot of fun. That's Wayne, what life is about. Just having fun. Come on.
You going to Scottsdale?
Oh, believe me, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
What's that, John?
Wayne, you going to Scottsdale, to Barrett Jackson in Scottsdale this month?
Oh yeah, I won't go this year. No. But,
why? We're going.
This is Lou's first time.
I'm sorry. I'm not ready for the trip yet. I'm going to start traveling in May.
Okay.
So
we'll meet up at one of them, or SEMA, or something.
I think Barrett Jackson's what end of April.
It's like March 24th.
Yeah, it's 20 through 27th. They moved it from January because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had Craig on. Yeah, we had Craig on last week and we talked it through. And like you probably heard, I got to
say, I was bumped by Craig, but I'm good with that.
Yeah, I know. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We knew we had to make a decision and move and do something. We appreciate it.
I'm good with it. Wayne, he's the A team. I'm the B team. So it's okay.
It's not like that. Wayne, when a couple of my buddies knew that you were coming on, they asked me about what's up with Roger Barr. How's he doing and what's happening there? And can you?
Roger's fine as far as I know. I had to lay Roger off during COVID because I didn't want him to get sick.
Yeah,
he was 85 years old, and he can't resist talking to people. So he went to work in another shop that he was working part-time at, and he's there now. And as far as I know, he's doing fine.
Is there any truth to the story that when you were a kid, I think it was Roger, you found him sleeping under a car? Is that Roger?
I did. So when I was in high school, Roger owned a shop in Glastonbury, Connecticut, and it was called the Foreign Car Shop. And he raced Formula B cars. And he was very competitive and won a lot of championships. But I went there one morning on my way to school, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. I pulled in the driveway, and the doors were wide open. which wasn't the normal. And I walked in the shop and I was calling his name and I didn't see him. All of a sudden I see these legs sticking out underneath a car, and Roger was sleeping from working on the car the night before. So I woke him up and got him a cup of coffee.
That's dedication. So Roger goes way back with you and your family, right?
Oh, he sure does. Yeah, he goes way back. And then Roger closed his shop and he went to work for Brown University on their alternative energy program. And and then when he left there, he told me he was leaving. He was going to retire, and so I hired him. I think he was 75 at the time, and I hired him. I said, "No, you're not retired. Come to work for me." And so that's what happened. But
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really
cool.
All
good things come to an end. So
yeah,
but never Lou and I. That's it. We're forever guys.
Peanut butter and jelly.
You bet.
We'll drive the Volvo cross country. It'll be a hoot.
I think it'd be a great time.
What's it look like inside? What's in there?
Just what the interior?
Yeah,
just a regular Volvo.
Standard Volvo, ain't it?
Yeah, you'd never know. What it is, what it is. But people always say when I take them on a tour of the place, and they said, "What is this Volvo doing in your collection?" I go, "Well, that's actually the most special car we have."
Yeah, right.
Paul Newman's car.
Yeah, I got to go up and see you, Wayne. I really need to do that. I just want
you to do it. Sure.
Anytime I know. Let me get my slow bourbon done, and I'll ride up there.
Okay.
I'll run up there in that.
Sounds good.
A cruiser. It's my cruiser.
Come up in that.
So yeah,
absolutely.
Because I got family in Connecticut. I got a cousin in Stamford. She lives.
Well, that's close enough.
Yeah.
That's a half an hour away.
It's a drive for me.
Yeah, that's 40 minutes.
Yes, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
I might stop and get John. We'll ride up together. We'll cross.
Okay. We'll stop in Philly.
John's down in Philly.
Cut up.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, it's not far at all.
No.
Wayne, what's the story about your log cabin? I heard you built this thing. You actually build it, or you get somebody to build it?
No, we were talking about it earlier. I built it up to the roof myself, and then had somebody come in and roof it, and then we worked on it. So it was a year. They delivered it, the logs. I think it was 2 weeks before Christmas in 1973.
Wow!
And it took me a year to build it. Moved in, and it was a great bachelor pad. So I lived by myself. Had a water bed and a hot tub.
There you go.
Need I say more?
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's not the house you're in now, right?
No. We sold that house. So I've been married 36 or 37 years, something like that. I think it's 36, and we just built a new house about 3 years ago. So yeah, we're enjoying the new house. My wife lived in that house. It was a small log cabin, and I promised her someday we'd have a nice home. Nothing wrong with the log home. I loved it, but this is the type of home that we're living in now. That see the walls behind me, they're all white.
Yeah,
that's the kind of house my wife wanted to live in, and she was living in a brown log home. So, but it's good.
Your garage is off to your left, so you can actually just make a turn right there and see the stuff that's in your collection.
Well, I can see the barn from here. Yeah, it's just down around the corner.
Okay.
So we have a farm. We bought a farm with a big barn, and we put all of our cars in there. And then my shop is 4 miles away. So I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I do my exercises, and then I go to work at about 6. And I get upset if somebody's in front of me in the Dunkin' Donuts line to get a coffee. I go, "Where'd that person come from?" God, I like living out in the country where there's not many people.
Tell us about that.
Actually, hold on once. I got a really important question to ask Wayne, John. Hold on 1 second, because I want to get it in before we go.
Yeah.
So the last time we talked, you said, remember that Audi that they found in the salt mine? There's only 2 of them. I asked you, and they were gonna go for auction, and it didn't sell because of legal stuff. Did they ever get that settled? Do you know?
No,
Really?
no, that was a reproduction car. And
Which
Tell
one?
the
The one that,
backstory.
you
Tell
found,
the
or the one
backstory,
that
Wayne.
the other?
so what happened is that during the war, this car was such a famous race car that got taken apart and put in a salt mine in Russia.
Right.
And so some guys went and found the car, put it together. But in the meantime, I can't, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but somebody else replicated the same car that had the same
Oh.
chassis number on it because they thought the car was lost forever. And then this car comes out. And so it was a pissing battle between one and the other as to which one was the real car. And so that's how it goes. And that's what happens a lot, back in the 60s and 70s and even the 80s, people would research certain cars, and if they seemed to be lost forever, they would try to replicate them and bring them back from the dead. And sometimes it worked, and most times it didn't, because
Right.
people really know of the real car from not the real car. So we followed that car over in at the Paris Auto Show sale, and was ready to sell. And at the last minute, they pulled the car because the people that owned the real car said, "No, we know the real story, and if you auction that car off, we'll sue you."
Because I remember last, I mean, we talked a few years ago, and
Yep.
and you said that they were trying to get it, straightened out. I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't,
Most
at
of
the
those
time,
things never.
Yeah, that's wild.
Most of those things never really straighten out. One car becomes wall art, the rest and the rest of it hides away. I mean, it becomes an issue so that neither car could ever get sold.
Did you ever get a chance to compare them side by side or see them to be able to tell the difference?
No. I mean, so there's companies around the world that can replicate stuff so good that even the guys that made the original one, it's tough to decipher which is the real and which is not. Which is Memorex? Remember that commercial?
Yeah.
Is it live, or is it
Real to Memorex.
Yeah, we're showing our age now.
Yeah.
That's got to be like 82.
I used to tell people flat out, I didn't do it unless you got 8x10 glossies and Memorex videotape. I didn't do it.
Right. That's right. So I mean, replicas were really, really good. The guys that built those cars were really good. I mean, it still happens today, but not so much because there's so much investigative work gone into replicating all these cars and really knowing the real history of the car. So,
right.
What was the guesstimate on what that car was worth, on why they would duplicate it? What was the value?
Probably at that time, probably $10 million.
Yeah.
And now if you look at a GTO Ferrari, one sold a couple of years ago for $70 million. So, there's $50-70 million cars. One of these days we'll see $100 million car. I mean, people sometimes, it's just like buying a painting, anything else. When it's fine art, cars become fine art.
Mm-hmm.
So Picasso's, Renoirs, whatever it may be in your house, people don't talk about how much they sell for. They've just become unobtainable, and they'll pay any price for it.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of art out there that's been stolen over the years and just appear in. Only one person knows where it is, and that person will go in with a glass of wine into a certain vault and look at that piece of art. That's when it gets really weird. That you don't want to share your things with others.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be in that position when I can't share what I have with other people. I think that's the best part of owning something, is to share it with your friends.
Well, Wayne, if you ever want to share something, just let me know. I will come over and hang out.
Lou, we'll share anything you want.
And then we'll be rocking.
We'll share dinner with you, a house, whatever you want. You're welcome anytime, buddy.
We gotta have Wayne. We gotta have Wayne back, because there's a bunch of stuff on my list that we didn't even get to. F40, the history of it, the attic.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime you guys want. I got to say, this pandemic has really been something that I never thought it would be as long as it's happened. And I never thought that I needed this kind of break in my life. But, I look, as the summer went on, I really appreciated being home with my family. I was on the road so many times. My average days a year was 185 days a year. I was gone for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to be home. But I got to tell you the truth. I can't wait to get the hell out of here. I mean, not that I don't love being home with my wife and my family, but I need to be back on the road. So I can't wait to be, out on the road again.
I need to get back on the road too.
Yeah, it's great.
I do. I don't know anything else.
Road trip to Wayne's. We'll go through Philly. Check out the music.
On board.
Anytime.
It's funny because Albert asked what was the power plant in the slow bourbon. It's just a rebuilt 350 with 9.5 to 1s. It's nothing special. It's just, but the thing gets good mileage, and it's a square body. So I got who doesn't want to push a brick down the highway?
That's a brick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I'll get that thing done. Well, we've been on an hour and 6 minutes. Well, I haven't been, but
Yeah, we missed you.
What we're gonna do. We're gonna sign off, Wayne.
That's right.
We'd love to have you back. We'll figure it out.
Man.
I appreciate it, Wayne.
It was a blast.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Lou. It's always a pleasure to be with you. So much fun. Other than I'm really good friends, and I have been good friends with Tom and Ray Mayazzi from Car Talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And next to Car Talk, you're the best, Lou, because you got the best laugh in the world. So
it's contagious.
It is. Tom and Ray Mayazzi has the best laugh, and Lou is third, but working his way up. So
there you go.
Hey, did you ever start your podcast when we talked?
It's coming very, very soon. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. We'll talk about it when we go. I'll call you guys and let you know when it's going to blast off. But there's so many new things popping up, you can't believe it.
Cool.
During COVID, we've come up with great ideas. There's a podcast coming. There's YouTube channels. There's books. There's clubs. There's a little bit of everything I can't talk about, but there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. So we're very excited about it.
So when I call F40, is it Joan, the lady, the receptionist, the lady who answers the phone?
Sue.
So whenever I call John, she says good morning or good afternoon. And she says, "This is Sue." And I'm like, "Hello, Sue. How are you?" I just go, "How you doing today?" And she's like, and you could tell the first few times she didn't know it was me. So she's like, "Who?" Like she's really playing around.
Gonna hang up with you.
She sends me a note. She calls me and she goes, "Your friend Lou is on the phone."
Yeah, right. He's trouble. Wayne, stay away from him. I'm telling you now, stay away from him.
Like, who is this guy?
Sue is the sweetest woman in the world. Fantastic. I have no idea how she puts up with any of us, but any of our customers either. So
yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Thanks so much.
Wayne, it was a great time talking to you. And we'll definitely get together. All right.
Sounds
buddy. Good. Appreciate it, Wayne. Talk to you in a little bit.
John. Thanks, Lou. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Later, Wayne.
Be safe.
All right, everybody, we're going to have to sign off. We've been on an hour already, and it flew by. Even though I had technical difficulties, I don't know why my computer did the blue screen of death. I have no idea. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to Garage Insider TV. And next week, we have Shorty from Iron Resurrection. So check it out. It'll be another good time. We'll probably get Shorty to do some of it in Spanish because neither me or John speak Spanish.
Or understand it.
So, we'll have them talk in Spanish just because, we need another audience. That's the only way I can figure it. So until then, go check out Garage Insider TV. John, say goodbye.
Later. I'll talk to you. Goodbye.
And Lee, say goodnight.
Good night, Lee.
And that's all, folks.